so they can be done. Okay.
All right, my name is cobyraw. I'm the operation manager here at Radio 1 Cleveland, and I'm on the air on Z1079.
And you lost a loved one to HIV and AIDS?
Yes, I lost my brother, Keith Tyner, in 1991. April 1st, 1991 is the day he passed away from AIDS.
And what was your reaction when you learned of his diagnosis?
I found out in 1990, Christmas time, 1990, as I was about to go to New York. I was living in Philadelphia, and my family lived in New York, and I was getting on, about to leave to come to New York for the holidays, and my dad kind of gave me a heads up that this was what was going on, that he was sick, and he looked different, and he would be in the hospital for the holidays, and that we would be going to visit him in the at the hospital, and this is what was going on. So I had to kind of take all that in, then get on the bus, and then just go deal with it. So it was not one of my better Christmas holidays.
And did your brother ever discuss how he contracted HIV and AIDS?
No, he did not discuss how he did it, but he was on drugs. Okay. And let's just say that in his quest for being on drugs, that he did a lot of things.
His reaction to his diagnosis?
Actually, we have a very small family, and my father and my brother spent a lot of time apart, and so my father was really the only relatives that he really had that was there to support him, and so my dad kind of like went into take care mode, and he really went above and beyond, and it was really hard for him. It was really a difficult time for my father to deal with that, and it was you were kind of like a pariah if you had AIDS, and brothers wasn't getting AIDS, so it was a gay white man's disease in 1990. So it was a bit much for a lot of people in the family and a lot of people externally to deal with. And my dad kind of like was really the only person that he could lean on. And they spent that last year and some change, they spent that time together.
What was it like for you knowing that you were going to lose your brother?
I never dealt with it. I just didn't deal with it. I just lived life, and, you know, we went on, and he had gotten better, and, you know, everything was kind of like okay, and then, you know, all of a sudden I just get this call like, this is it, you know, you need to come to New York now. So I think I dealt with it more when I got the call that he was sick and I had to really get to the hospital, and I really only had I got to the hospital and maybe I had, you know, less than a day to spend with him and, you know, watch him take his last breath.
What would you say to the public about HIV and AIDS? What do we need to know?
Well, I think that that moment in my life, that changed my life. It opened my eyes to something that I just never thought of or never considered. And I spent a lot of time after that becoming an AIDS awareness counselor and going into the schools in Philadelphia. I think I went to almost every middle and high school in Philadelphia and worked with an organization there that dealt directly with young people, because that's when I started to learn that young people were contracting this disease faster than anyone else, and young African American and Latinos. So a lot of energy and time was spent there, and that is where we need to concentrate, because young people live this YOLO life, this, you know, nothing will affect them, and this is affecting them tremendously, and people need to be aware of it. And now people don't talk about it as much. They talk about all the other stuff. They kind of moved on, while HIV and AIDS is ravaging our community.
Why do you think it's important for organizations such as the Calling Post and Radio 1 to take up this cause?
Oh, it affects our people directly. It's almost like a form of genocide. It's like our people are whittling away to this disease, and you can control how you get it, how to maintain it. Even if you have it, it's not the end of the world. Like people used to think it was the end of the world. It's not that like that anymore. When you have it, you can get treatment. If you go to the doctor, you can live a long, healthy life. So we need to make people aware of that.
That's a wrap.
Okay.
That was it? That's
If
easy.
she wants to wrap it,
Yeah.
we can
That's
wrap
all
it.
you wanted?
That's all.
Hey.
You want to talk some
You
more?
gotta talk some more.
I'm like, Rhonda, nothing
Can you
else.
say something about World AIDS Day?
And also
Okay.
maybe something to our community. You know, maybe like he look
A
at the camera and
message?
say, you know, this is Kobe Cub for Radio 1. Take charge. You know, just something to that
Yeah.
effect. Because Kobe has a lot of...
Right, like
All
what
right.
do you want to
Right.
leave?
I'm ready to zoom in on you for that.
What do you want to leave his audience with?
Yeah, or
What
something
message?
like that.
Right, what message you want to leave with his audience?
Okay.
We talked about how it affected him and all of that, but then...
And
That's awesome.
So I was on that. It's
Okay.
actually it's still rolling,
ahead.
so you can't move a lot because it's tight.
All right.
But you can go straight to the camera with that. You can look at her and go straight to the camera with
Okay.
whatever you want to
Go
close
ahead.
with.
What message would you leave viewers with about HIV and AIDS and World AIDS Day?
Well, World AIDS Day is an important day of awareness to let people know that this disease still exists and there's a lot of work to be done. And I think, especially to our young folks out here, that they got to really protect themselves and never put yourself in situations where you're having unprotected sex or you're in situations where you're just not comfortable with. Don't put yourself at risk. This is 100% preventable. And people need to understand that. And to my older folks, that a lot of our older generation, which is another group that is getting HIV and AIDS because they don't think that they'll get anything because they're older, you need to be careful as well. I mean, it's really a serious disease, and it's really important that folks pay attention, be aware, and take care of themselves. And if you do happen to contract it, go to a doctor, get on treatment. It's not the end of the world. And definitely don't spread it to other people. So I think those are the things that I would say to folks.